Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. We are doing all things reading journal today. I have my reading journal PDF on my laptop and I have to add another book to it, and I thought I would show you guys how I do that. So I am going to go ahead and add another book cover. I'm going to go to Insert, Image, Upload from Computer, and I have a whole folder of book covers right here. I want to add Project Hail Mary. So I'm going to add that, and then I click on it, go to Image Options, Size and Rotation, and then you can adjust this. Let me just double check what I had all of these covers at. Okay, so it says here 1.35 inches width, 2.04 inches height. So let's come down to this one and select it. Then we can just change this to 1.35, and then that automatically adjusts. So there we go. So I have all of my book covers ready to be printed. Okay, we're at Staples now. We are going to go inside and get our reading journal stuff printed. If you have a printer at home or something, of course, that's preferable, but we don't have a printer at this point, so we're going to go in and get this printed, and we will do the whole reading journal thing later. Alright, I got the book covers all printed, so our work is cut out for us. No pun intended. So it literally cost 87 cents. So that is an extremely affordable option, so highly recommend. Okay, so I got all of my book covers all cut out right here, and here's my reading journal. I have all my little spots to fill in. I think I'm gonna go ahead and just get this done right now. And these are some book covers that I had cut out from the previous month. Let's get my reading journal finished. So the main thing actually that I need to do is finish out my series tracker page. I have one book to add here. I have two books to add here. I have one book to add here. I also have one book to add here. Then I have two books, I believe, to add on this page. And I also have to do my February. Is it February and March? I guess I'll see when I get to this part. So let's get working here. Okay, so I got all my series filled in, which we'll go over that a little bit later again, but first I'm gonna do my book of the month. So I'm pretty sure that I can fit January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. I'm not sure, this page might be a bit of a tight fit, but we'll have to figure that out, I guess. But I think I'm gonna do February here and then March down here, and then obviously I do not have my April month book of the month yet. And what this is just like my favorite book of the month. So for February, I believe Words of Radiance. That was my February book of the month. So that will go over here. And then Project Hail Mary was my favorite book from March. So we're going to go ahead and put that down here. But I think I'm going to also grab a pen and just write down the month of February. Maybe I'm going to do blue. I don't know. I'm just kind of randomly picking colors. And let's go ahead and add Words of Radiance. This book will forever live on in my memory, and I'm 100% reading it again and again and again. Then we're going to do March. So let's go ahead and grab, let's just do green. Okay, there's my book of the month page. So when I did this page, my January TBR, I put in what my TBR was for that month. So I ended up not finishing My Friends by Frederick Bachman, and I did not read Beneath the Scarlet Sky. I read Assassin's Quest instead. So what happened was, instead of reading My Friends, I read Powerful. So I'm gonna just put it in here. And this whole mess in here made me decide to, instead of doing my TBR before I actually read it, I'm going to just do like a recap. So this will be my February recap and then my March recap as well, just because this is a little messy doing it this way. So I'm going to go ahead and add Powerful into this little blank spot. I'm going to go ahead and write my February recap, and I'm just going to keep it simple, I think. I don't feel like putting a ton of effort into fancy writing, but I do know how to write cursive. Maybe I should do something in cursive. Nope, that's a T. That's not an F. Or is it like this? I think that's how you do it. Man, it's been years since I've written in cursive. There. Now let's see if I can do recap. I guess that'll have to work. Now, let me just think about the books that I read in February. It's been 2 months. I know that this was a DNF. I did not finish that book. I did read that one. I believe I read Gemina, and you know what? I'm gonna have to go ahead and check my Goodreads because I think that I'm forgetting. Okay, so I just looked at my Goodreads, and yeah, this was a DNF. This one I finished, and this one I finished, and then this one I read in February and then into March. So I think I'm going to include it in the February recap. Yeah, we're just going to put these into the month of February, and then these will go into March. Okay, there is the February recap. Then I just have my March, which I realized that I made a mistake with my March recap. So I printed this Fearful cover, and I used it to finish out my series tracker, and then I realized I actually need another one for my March recap. So I guess I'll just have to get that printed when I do my April recap. So let's go ahead and I think if I remember right, it was Obsidio first, then it was Ready Player 2, and then it was Project Hail Mary. So let's go ahead and actually, first of all, I want to write March recap on my paper here. Okay, here's my little March recap. So I have big bubble letters with that say March recap, and I have Obsidio here, Ready Player 2, and Project Hail Mary, and I left this blank for Fearful. I'm already looking forward to doing my April recap, and it's going to be so fun. I still have to go through and add like all of my star ratings and stuff, but I think this is really cool and I'm so excited about this. Okay guys, it's a few days later and I know the quality of this camera is worse than my other one. I usually use my phone to record, but I need to use my phone for my Goodreads ratings, so I decided to just use my old camera to film this. So I have my tea, I have my phone, I have my reading journal here. So let's just go ahead and see what all do we have to do to update. So I have to fill in all of these ratings. So maybe I will just start with that. I literally just reached 100 books on my read on Goodreads, so that's pretty cool. So let me just go back to Ready Player 1. Let's see, what was my rating of that? My rating of Ready Player 1 was 5 stars. I'm gonna go ahead and scroll through here, find Ready Player 2. That one. I rated that 2.5 stars. Oh, how to draw half a star. It's not very good, but that should have been more slanted. Oh well, we can work with it. It looks more like a 2.25 star, but I guess you can tell from the numbers right there that that's a 2.5. I also read it in March. Now we're gonna do Illuminae. I did not fill in some of these things for a long time, so let's just find Illuminate. That was from sometime in 2025. Here we go. I finished reading it. I finished reading it in March. Oh wow, 2025. So that was just over a year ago. So let's see here. I might actually use like gray because I feel like orange just would not really go with that. So let me just use gray. And I gave it a 4-star rating. There, and Gemina was something I just read, so let's go ahead, scroll all the way back up here. Gemina was from February 2026. Obsidio, 3.5 stars, and I read it in March 2026. Now, let's see if I can do a better half. Let me see. Okay, that's slightly better. That looks absolutely terrible. That half looks hilarious. Now, here we have The Way of Kings and Brandon Sanderson Words of Radiance. Blue would look good with both of them, I think. Guess I could just use blue. And I read this one May of 2025. It was 100% a 5-star. Actually, this would be considered like a 6-star. I would give it as many stars as I possibly could give it. Okay, now we've got Words of Radiance. I read that in February 2026. And that was also a 5-star. And we have Fearful. So I read Fearful in March of 2026. I'm just going to put that over here. And it was a 3-star, I believe. 3.5. Book of the month. These are not always 5 stars. These two were, but this one was not. So I don't know. I feel like I'm not going to add the star ratings to this just because it's like, well, it was the book of the month. So we're just going to let that be there. Now, Powerful that I just added in, I am just going to use purple for this one. I'm going to just add in here that it was a 5-star. Now we just have a little bit more. We're almost done. Gemina. So it was a 4-star. And I did not finish this one. This was a DNF. So I'm just going to use red and I'm going to say DNF. 5 stars. I might just use red again and do this one. Let me see. What did I rate that book? I did. Yes, it was a 5-star. Oh, this is on. You guys know? Now we have our March recap. So Obsidio, I just have to double check again. 3.5 stars. Let's do that yellow again.
Yellow.
Yep.
Again.
Yep.
Daddy said, yep.
Mm-hmm.
I said, oh,
Yeah,
right?
you did.
Mm-hmm. And I wasn't an elephant. I wasn't.
You weren't an elephant.
Yep, I wasn't.
When does an elephant say, oh,
You're an elephant girl.
I'm an elephant girl?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Do I have a big long trunk?
I don't know.
Elephants have a big long trunk. And a big long tail.
Oh yeah. And what about a real tail?
A little tail.
A real tail.
Well, I think elephants have pretty big tails.
And real tails too.
Well, maybe baby elephants have little tails.
And big tails and real tails.
Yeah.
Are you doing blue?
Mm-hmm.
What?
I guess I'll do yellow again for that. Project Hail Mary. Let's see. I believe it was a 3.5 star. Yep. Okay, you guys, we have officially finished updating my reading journal up until April, so I am very happy about that. Here is my series trackers page. We got all the ratings done and we got all the book covers filled in. That is really exciting. And I'm very happy that I actually finished all 3 of these series since January. So that's so exciting. And I'm going to be working on this one this year. And I also finished the Powerless series. So that's really exciting too. My book of the month. So this is just like my favorite book that I read that month. And my January TBR, got that finished and filled out. That is really satisfying. I personally love to see what other people do in their reading journals, so this is really fun. I got my March recap done. I would love to spend more time doing like artsy things, making it look like I would have loved to add some kind of artsy thing, which I totally could do, but I have a child and it's just, I have to decide what my priorities are and figure out like what do I want to spend the most time on. And for me in this era of my life, this is the best that I can do. And so this is what I'm doing. And I did miss Fearful down here, so I will be printing that out next time and adding that in here. But I guess other than that, that is my updated reading journal. I just love to look through this, look back at all the memories and the books that I've read. And I love, this is my The Way of Kings page. It's just so good. I love The Way of Kings. Oh my word. And then this is my Powerless page. I also love Powerless, Reckless, and this was my Fearless page. And then this was just like a little nod to Powerful. This is my little tribute to Powerful. I love that book, so I couldn't leave it out. And I didn't do any kind of Fearful tribute because I didn't have space and also because it wasn't my favorite book. And then this is just where I write down all the books I'm reading. So I'm currently working on number 13 for this year. And that is it. That's my update. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and I will see you guys somewhere in another video or something. Bye.